We have to say, Lord, I'm desperate for you. I need you. Without you, I'm nothing.
Just was searching for that emptiness that was found in God, but since I thought God was basically boring, I was searching it for everywhere else. And that night, the preacher was talking about going 100% for God, that you can't have 1 foot in the world and 1 foot with God. You have to make a decision, and you have to go all or nothing, 100% or 0%. There's no halfway. And I just got really convicted that night, and went to the altar call, gave my life over to Christ, and burnt tons of stuff in a fire. I ended up going home and coming back with CDs, porn, drugs, I mean, you name it. Things that I knew were holding me back and holding me down from chasing after God. Just like a week after that night, the youth pastor asked me to speak. Preaching? You know, I don't know what I was doing. He's like, God told me that you need to, so do it, please. And I'm like, okay, who am I that you would want to use? Who am I to do this? I'm nothing. But yet, these kids' lives were being transformed. And I told God right then and there, I said, God, if this is the only thing that I ever do for the rest of my life, I'll die the happiest man in the world. And I felt the Holy Spirit speak to me at that moment and say, Jeremy, good, because this is your calling, preach till you die. I think churches and youth groups should have me to speak, because I see a lot of speakers come through and they're awesome, but they kind of tickle people's ears, or they just stand up and say jokes, or you know what I mean? Like it's good, but I want to reach the kids in the back row who have their arms crossed like I did. The kids who think they're too cool and too hard to love God. And my message is a message that shakes up, it ignites. It'll get you off your bottom. I kept hearing about this Reinhard Bonnke guy. And I'm just like, who is this guy, you know? And everyone was talking about him. And I remember I was sitting in a pastor's office in Nairobi, and I was looking at his bookshelf. I was waiting for my driver to come pick me up, and I see this book that said Evangelism by Fire. I was like, that's a title, right? I can't wait to read that. So I run up there, I grabbed it, and as I was pulling it off the bookshelf, I like froze. I just felt the Holy Spirit come on me, and the Holy Spirit told me that this book is going to shake your life up. So that very same day, I went out to the Christian bookstore in Nairobi and bought every Reinhard Bonnke book that I could find. And oh my goodness, they shook me up. They made me realize that I have to step it up. There's more that I can do. And it brought really a fire into me to do more and really develop my heart for the lost, and develop my heart to shake people up. Reinhard just preaches the gospel and lets God do what he wants to do. And huge miracles do happen, but not because he's focused on it, because he's focused on the gospel. And he's just humble, and he has a heart, he's not showy. That's why a lot of Americans don't even know who he is. I'm like, hey, they ask me, who do you look up to? I say, Reinhard Bonnke. They're like, who? You know, people don't realize how many souls have been saved through his ministry. It's insane. But he's humble, and he has faith that I've never seen in anyone alive. So that's who I look up to. I was happily married in Australia, and everything was going great. I was starting to travel and speak, and no red flags or anything. And I came back from a trip, and my wife picked me up from the airport. I could tell something was wrong. She wasn't the normal self, and she ended up telling me that she was leaving me. It hurt me, and I went through 3 years of hell, pretty much, and where I went through depression. I kind of pulled away from church. I never got angry at God, but I wanted to die. And I will take the pain of the divorce, I will take the pain of getting my heart crushed, and I will give it to God and say, Lord, I can't hold on to this pain. I give it to you. Take it and use it. And every time I share my story, I see healing in people's lives. as a traveling evangelist, I want to do things a little different. I don't want to just be a speaker that gets booked and paid for, and we'll pay for your flights, put you up in a nice hotel, and pay you a nice honorarium. That's nice and everything, but I don't want that to be my ministry. The reason why Global Mission exists is to preach at places that can't afford a speaker, that can't afford the airfares. The only way to do that is to get people to donate and to fund a ministry to do that. Obviously, I'm not going to be making any money enough to go to places, to pay my own airfare, to pay my own accommodation, and to just speak for free. But that's my heart. I want to do that. And so I do need people who believe in that and who are behind that to partner with me and say, hey, we want to make it possible for Global Ignition to go to countries that can't afford places. You know, a lot of the places I've spoken in Africa, I didn't get paid. I didn't want to get paid. But thousands of souls still got saved, even though they couldn't afford it.
Are you content with where you are with God? Are you a comfortable Christian? Too busy playing church, playing the good person, playing the game where you got everybody fooled? Time is up. It's time to chase after God.